Hi, I'm Emma, a solutions consultant here at Medallia, and I'm so excited to walk through Smart Response, one of our newest generative AI capabilities within Medallia Experience Cloud. So let's talk about closing the loop. We know it's vital to creating trust and loyalty, and yes, every brand should be doing it, but we know that traditionally it takes a lot of time. But with Smart Response, you can have it all. Because with one click, Smart Response uses advanced generative AI to take in the customer's feedback and context, and then craft a unique message that's just for them. It sticks to brand and communication preferences, so comms are consistent, and it carries the entire burden of creating empathetic responses for every single customer. So, let's see how Smart Response helps you to respond to customer and employee feedback with personalized empathetic messages. To start off this demo, I'm logging in as Taylor, a branch manager at Diamond Co Bank. Part of Taylor's responsibilities is to close the loop with customers because they've seen how it can drastically boost customer loyalty and satisfaction. To close the loop, you always start with what the customer says. So Taylor heads right to her real-time alert summary because it flags those high-priority interactions that require that immediate follow-up. And her team have dialed in. They've set up alerts to be triggered off of scores, AI-detected topics, sentiment trends, and even some operational events. So they really make sure that a customer's feedback never slips through the cracks. To start her day, Taylor decides to check on the customer that has the multiple contact flag, since they're clearly eager to have their voice heard. Looking at the customer record, Taylor starts scanning all the data tied to the experience to see what she's getting into. Looking at the comment, we can see Emma's been facing some long wait times when she's come to the branch. That's understandably frustrating. Along with these frustrations, she's left a few suggestions and has an observation about messiness. So, Taylor has a few ways to close the loop with Emma. While pre-built templates have bridged the gap between manual and automated work, it still takes time and effort to customize the message. Smart Response, on the other hand, is intelligently customized based on the customer, the main score they provided, and the details from their feedback. Smart Response saves Taylor so much time because it can intelligently handle feedback that has positive, negative, and even mixed sentiment. It can even generate a response if a customer only leaves a score with no comment or leaves a comment with no score. In just a few seconds, Smart Response has crafted a fully personalized email for Taylor to send to Emma, and it's structured beautifully. It thanks the customer for the feedback, it acknowledges the feedback of wait times as well as cleanliness, and it even does a great job of addressing the issues without making any specific commitments or offers. But put a pin in that because I'll show you later how admins can set up guardrails just like this. Okay, one last thing. Since she's going to carry this feedback forward, she pops in to let Emma know how impactful her note is. Smart Response is also set up responsibly for Taylor and her team. Messages aren't just automatically sent, they have to be reviewed and confirmed, making sure they meet expectations before going out. AI is pretty impressive, but keeping someone like Taylor involved in the process means nothing falls through the cracks and every customer is cared for. As great as it is for this frontline example, Smart Response works across a wide range of use cases, including within B2B and even internal employee feedback like an IT survey. It even works on mobile. It's the exact same process, so if Taylor's away from her computer, she can still close the loop with customers on the go, personally and efficiently. Anytime you have to respond to feedback, Smart Response is your ticket to faster, personalized messages that hit home. Now, if unleashing AI to your frontline stirs up some worry, we've got your back because you have total control over who gets access to Smart Response and when. So you could roll out access by region, business unit, role type, and then trial it before going all in. You have the control. And as I mentioned earlier, admins can configure smart response instructions to keep what's generated aligned to your brand and use case. We'll look at how to do that in just a bit, but first, let's see how these messages perform. Now, while Taylor continues closing the loop like a pro, let's pop over to another part of the bank's operations and see how Jason, an insights manager, measures the performance of Smart Response. Diamond Co. launched Smart Response for their teams just 3 months ago. So Jason's logging in today to see how the new messaging has impacted the bank. The first thing he notices is that the percentage of alerts closed within SLA is excellent. Looking at the same metric over time, Smart Response is bringing up the overall average when we compare it to the other closed-loop feedback methods. But the cherry on top for Jason is seeing the time savings of about 3 minutes per follow-up by using Smart Response instead of a template. This is fantastic progress. All right, we've seen how to send a Smart Response, and we've looked at how to understand the health of our closed-loop program. Now let's see how you can set up and manage Smart Response. Now, since Smart Response instructions can be customized to your exact needs and use cases, one single configuration of Smart Response may fit the bill for all of your needs. But there might be scenarios where a company has more than one configuration. For example, Diamond Co.'s contact center leader might want their team to use a specific approach based on the feedback channel type. Or maybe the wealth management leader insists their team's smart responses have a completely different tone from consumer banking. So let's see how you can make these adjustments and really dial into what's generated. Let's stay with Jason and switch over to Admin Suite. Jason's going to adjust his org's feedback responses so he can manage how employees respond to customers, like setting up email templates or those smart response configurations. Jason just needs to provide a few things to set up his new smart response. He starts with the name. This will be what frontline employees like Taylor will see when they're closing the loop with customers. Entering a description is optional, but it's always good practice to communicate with other users in the platform. And while a single smart response can be set up to apply to all, Jason filters it down specifically for the consumer banking line of business. Next up is the instructions to make Smart Response unique to the brand. Jason makes sure the company information is concise and provides some background information on its offerings, services, and use cases. This enables Medallia's AI to have necessary context to generate relevant smart responses. Next up, Jason gets to customize how Smart Response thinks. These default instructions have been carefully tested and optimized by Medallia to yield the best results across a wide range of use cases. And as we recommend to all Smart Response users, Jason's going to preview some default responses before deciding if he wants to make any changes. Jason can conveniently review a handful of responses right from this preview page to get a good understanding of how Smart Response replies to different feedback. But he really wants to know how it responds to detractors. So he's going to make an update here to the type of feedback that it's previewing. These responses are pretty solid, so Jason's confident he only needs to make a quick edit to align Diamond Co.'s brand guidelines. So he goes back to the instructions to add one final prompt to make sure that any unhappy customers know that Diamond Co. genuinely cares about their feedback and that they strive to do better in a consistent manner. Now he's ready to preview how the new instruction is brought in. Smart responses can also have a consistent design. The body of this looks good, but Jason knows adding a logo would help keep their emails on brand. Now that everything's sounding and looking good, Smart Response is ready to be launched. Sending responses that are personalized, efficient, and on brand is precisely what Smart Response is made for. And it's already making this a reality, even for brands with the highest of standards, like the 5-star Venetian Resort in Las Vegas. With a reputation for delivering the very best customer experiences, the Venetian needed to make every customer feedback response personalized. So, to do this at scale, they turned to Smart Response, which was used to generate 93% of their customer responses. Not only did they find a new level of efficiency, but they were able to raise their standards by keeping every message accurate, personalized, and empathetic. It was a true game changer. Thank you so much for joining me on this walkthrough of Smart Response. I hope you learned a lot, and I'll see you next time.